This is an example of my life, living with snakes. Pretty much, that is my day-to-day. So living with snakes means, you can see her wrapping herself around there, as I do with, not so much Jack anymore, although I could, but you know, he's a heavy guy. So, but Lily, I still very much do this. We come into the kitchen and I first make myself cups of tea. And I want her to get used to, there are other rooms in our home that she can feel safe and comfortable with. So, hence why I'm happy to bring her here into the kitchen with me. But I am going to take her and we're going to, let's see her venture onto the jungle gym, which I do know she likes, very much likes. She can be a bit of a terror getting her off, of course, but I know that she likes it. So I'm going to, without her falling out of my hands too much, let her fall down there and make herself comfortable, as she will. So there she is. Still a bit wonky, but she's a climber. She gets on here and she will immediately start to go up. So I'm just going to move her away a little bit, but yeah, this is, you know, where I love my snakes to be able to hang out rather than me just that continually holding. And you know, I can touch her. She's making a noise, but I can touch her. And you don't need to be so defensive, sweetie. Okay? She's like, well, you haven't got hold of me now, and I'm the one in control. You aren't the one in control. So it cracks me up, actually. But, you know, she does need handling. You know, there's no doubt about it. She needs to be held, and she needs to understand that, you know, I'm certainly her friend and not going to hurt her in any way, but she also needs this freedom to know this place and to know the jungle gym, to understand that I'm happy for her to go on it, but she has to understand that she can't stay on it, that at some point she'll have to come home, and that's when she gets a little bit, no, you know, I'm not going back. And I guess, you know, because she only comes out a couple of times a week at this particular point, you know, maybe it's about, well, I'm out and I do like it out. You know, there is no doubt that she likes it out, but she doesn't want to go home. She's spread out, and she's getting some of that exercise. And like I said, I'm going to be lowering that hammock so she can hang here while I do that. You know, nothing against putting a snake in a tub, but I guess I'm fortunate enough to have things like this available and set up for my snakes to chill on while I do things. You okay, darling? Yes, so I'm not moving at this particular point. So guys, it's just a little one of her hanging on the jungle gym. I've got to go and check my drill, make sure it's charged so I can unscrew the screws that I've used, and redo that hammock for her, and look at also I've got to drill a hole so I can put a light in there. I've got a cage, I've got everything ready. I've just got to get my butt into gear and get it going and do it. And actually my friend who has the actual part that I need to put the hole in there is away. So hence why I've not done it myself yet. But I think okay, having a yawn. So it's not about me being slack. I just want to do it as easy as possible. I have done it by hand before, drilled one hole and drilled the next hole and the next hole and the next hole and done the little circle and popped it out. But, the particular hole puncher thing drill is, and it's done. So I would much prefer to be able to do it that way than the way I've done it previously. So it's just about getting the lead through the connection with the lamp in it, or the thing that you screw your lamp into, and I'll get it done. So there you go. I will end it. It is about taking care of yourself. I've kind of figured that out today. Feeling very exhausted and tired, and then taking care of my family, and then taking care of these guys. Though sometimes I think I take care of these guys and take care of my family, and then somehow I take care of myself. But I think a lot of us do that, people. So ciao. Okay guys, I'm switching on the camera. CR has developed a respiratory infection, and I've been giving her some eucalyptus vaporizing with some F10 in it, and I've only been doing it for a few days, but I've also upped her temps in her enclosure by a couple of degrees. I've also taken everything out and sterilized it and cleaned it and so forth, and I do that with her water a couple of times a day as well. But people ask me often, my snake doesn't seem right and I think he might have an RI going on, and it's very difficult to try and explain to people. I can give the basics of what that is, and a lot of the time you will hear them whistling, but then Lily whistles when she breathes but doesn't have an RI. Their tongue tends to flick quite slowly because it gets stuck in the mucus that is actually in their mouth. So it's very hard for them to flick their tongue really hard. A lot will stop eating and become very lethargic. You can hear a distinct kind of wheeze going on, differentiating between a wheeze and our carpets, even though Sia isn't classified a carpet, that really do huff quite a bit when they're out. But, unless you're able to open up your snake's mouth to see if there's any gunk in there, otherwise you can see bubbles coming out of their mouth. So, sometimes you don't as well. So it's varying on all these factors all put together. Now, I've had Sia 5-6 weeks, I believe, and she's got a pretty good RI, and it may have been festering there for a while before I brought her home, but the stress of the move and so forth has triggered, and her immune system has completely lowered, and it's totally flared up on me. So I was going to see if I can hear it, and it is quite loud when she does. So I wanted to try and catch that on the video for you, so you can hear just how bad their lungs can get and filled with fluid and yuck, and you know, they have a bad cold, whether it's bacterial, viral. The point is that you can't leave it and just go, they'll get over it. It doesn't quite work like that, and a lot of the times they will need some antibiotics to help shift. So I am going to be taking Sia to the vet today to have her checked over. That is the sort of person that I am. I know I've only done this treatment for a few days. I have dealt with RIs with Maya, and I have never heard the wheeze as I have with Sia. So I will touch her, and that's just her hissing, of course. But generally after the treatment, I find that her wheeze has kind of settled down a bit. And what I like to do is also get them out and let them hang. And it's a good way for all that gunk to run down out of their lungs, because, you know, they can't do it themselves. They can't cough and bring it up. So even though that's not really her hanging down, because she's on there as well, but I will get her out and let her hang down. Now I haven't changed out of my pyjamas because I'm going to throw these pyjamas in the wash, and I'm going to have a shower after handling Sia. And I suggest that you do that if you have a snake that you are working with or handling with an RI, is to put on an old set of clothes, handle them as I need to put her in here, and of course to let her hang down, which is kind of what she's doing, and yeah, have a shower, put clean clothes on. Don't put your head through the, no, don't go through there, and make sure that you have gotten any of that infection on you that you can pass to your other snakes. Now Sia is out in the other room to my snakes, and has not been exposed with my other snakes. So she's still eating. She ate a meal just 2 nights ago, but she's not making, see, this is what I mean. When I went in to get her out, my goodness, the noise when she was breathing. After 20 minutes of doing the vaporizing with her, that gurgle has gone. but it will come back. It's only, it has cleared it up and gotten it, where airways have opened, but it hasn't gotten rid of the infection yet. I could persist for another 5 to 7 days to see how she goes, and normally I would be very happy to do that, but I can hear the click. And I don't know if you can. I'm trying to find a head. But definitely it settles down after she's been in here and got some eucalyptus into her lungs and some F10. It certainly has made a difference. But coming up to the weekend, I'm not prepared to wait and see. And for me, things always tend to get a little worse on the weekends. And it's just not worth it, guys. It really isn't. So we will be going to the vet, and she may need antibiotics, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the recommendation. Should that be the case, if they say no, it's fairly mild gay. She hasn't got a lot of gunk in her mouth, her lungs don't sound really that bad, I will forgo the antibiotics and I will continue doing what I'm doing. That's how I do it, guys. So snakes can get sick, and it's not always about blaming yourself. It's about taking responsibility of the fact that you have to take care of them if they do get sick, and not ignore it and be too afraid to say, oh, my snake's got an RI, because somebody's going to say, well, you haven't taken care of them properly, because that's false. That is totally false. Sia is well cared for. I have her temps right. I have her humidity right. I haven't been slack with her. So we've had handling at a minimum, of course, because she's been getting used to me. I've done a few videos with her, not a lot, but I wanted to share this with you and let you know as much as I could. If a snake is developing an RI, there will be signs, and just be aware of them. And what I suggest you do is, firstly, up those temperatures by a couple of degrees, take everything out of your enclosure, make sure you've sterilised it all, put paper towels down. If you don't want to put substrate back in and then once they're fine, take it all out and then redo, because that's what I'll have to do. Are you whistling a bit? Once I have this all cleared up, her whole enclosure will be stripped out again. Everything will be totally sterilised and everything will go back in again. And that's what you need to do. I mean, it's no good really doing it while they've got it. In reality, it isn't. But I just feel, well, you're already a step ahead, aren't you? If you take everything out and already have it all sterilised and just put them back in with some paper towel, a couple of hides and their water bowl until they're over the infection. Or otherwise, I just freshen everything, get some the sterilising going in there, change your water every couple of times a day, and that is all I pretty much do. But when she's all well, I will strip it all out and give it a good good go over. So guys, there she is. Did you hear that? Now that is an RI, guys, and I'm glad I caught it for you, so that if you hear those sounds coming from your snake, they've got an RI and you need to do something about it. Don't leave it go. Do something. So you take care of yourself, take care of your family, the friends in your life too, and take care of your snakes, because they can get sick. Ciao.